Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Passing pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
We are one day closer to Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah.
In East Lansing on Saturday night. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're with us on the Braylon Edwards Show. Ryan and Kool-Aid and, of course, the man himself. Do you like that it's a night game, by the way?
No, I do not.
Yeah, I don't either like I don't like it either.
At the end of the day, look, man, I think
3:30
is reserved for certain games, certain times, certain fields. I've never been opposed to having Michigan State at night when it's like it was in 2021. Like when it's one with 4 versus 7 or whatever they were.
Oh, undefeateds?
100%. Or Ohio State over the course of the last 5 years when it's been competitive for 4 years. So, but yeah, like a game where you know it's not like that doesn't really necessarily mean that much. Night game, that's tough.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous when you get these types of games at night, just because there's a long time for people to lube up. Let's put it that way, right? All right, we'll talk about that for the rest of the week here on the Braylon Edwards Show. It's a nasty day. I love Michigan. I absolutely love it. I love the changing of the colors, and I love the various seasons. Days like this suck. The grayness. I mean, this is why a lot of people get down and out, and when you have too many days like this, don't you think?
Especially when you have to drive to East Lansing in this weather tonight.
Yeah.
Like as part of everything. Every year I do.
Is that what you're doing?
I do Battle for the Houses. It's funny, we actually had a buddies read, we'll talk about it later, but Battle for the Houses, and it's the Ronald McDonald House. TJ Duckett, former Michigan State great, friend of mine, and Mike Martin, friend of mine and alum of mine as well. They've been doing this for the better part of the last 4 years, raising money in the space, and pretty much so far, whatever team hosts has won. Last year we hosted, we won the Battle for the House. The year before that, Michigan State, they won, et cetera, et cetera. So this year it's in East Lansing. It did not rain last year in Ann Arbor, and it did not rain 3 years ago in Ann Arbor. 3 years ago. But guess what? The last 2 times I've gone to East Lansing, it rained. Last time it was worse than this.
So what do you think about tonight? How excited are you to get there and kind of rep out?
I don't necessarily enjoy going to East Lansing because I'm just super chill. I'm super fun. It's laid back. It's cool. Mm-hmm. You got yours off on the football field. I got mine off. Let's have some fun. Let's raise some money and let's be cool. You get to East Lansing and Michigan State, and they want to talk about how good the run was and Antonio and the trouble with the snap. Side note, he will be there. Jalen Watts Hyatt is his name?
Jackson.
Jackson.
There you go. I get a chance to meet him. I actually
PTSD from that play.
I want to show that 100%. I can't wait to meet him. But they get to talking the little run that they had and like the little window that they had and I was this and that. It's like, we've been beating y'all since 1900s. Like, just get out of here with that. So then in me, I eventually started to get pissed towards the end of the night, and then I have to bring out the big guns. I remember playing y'all my sophomore year. Didn't we get Bobby Williams fired 49-0? I don't talk about that. Yeah. I don't even have to talk about the 3 touchdowns. We can talk about the 2 touchdowns the year before that, where Chris Perry rushed for 220 yards. But I don't have to talk like that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
That I would guess that kind of stuff is more prevalent in your space than when you do things in the NFL. I think guys who go to certain schools, okay? I don't think Nick Whiteside right now is going into that locker room with the Lions and say, and start talking about Cardinal football, with all due respect, okay? But when you go to a certain program, I think you guys are more protective of your school than you are of a team you used to play on.
Yeah, because the school that you chose to go to, at least back then, like now you can play for 5 different schools in 4 years. But back then, like you loved your institution. Like you actually believed in going to a school. Mm-hmm. Like you believed in who the head coach was. That's why you went there. You believed in that school. That's why you went there. You enjoyed wearing those colors, and you enjoyed the rivalries. And when you won in those rivalries, you damn sure don't want to hear people talk about what they did in those rivalries. So, yes, it's a serious traditional thing that I was born into with my father, and I make no bones about it. I bleed maize and blue.
Yeah, and I think that's great. There's a lot of people who bleed green and white. When you look at Michigan State, for example, like I love their helmet. It's not that I don't love Michigan's, because I love Michigan's. It's iconic.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
You said
Please,
that?
yeah.
This past weekend, I watched some of the Michigan State game. The uniforms were fine. I liked the uniforms a lot. They had the S. They kind of had like the tribal thing going down the middle of the helmet. They had the Sparty on the logo, the decal. I dug that. Like they had the green that is Michigan State green. I like the uniform.
But
there's no but. I hate when they do the neon stuff. I hate when they do colors and things that aren't real. I guess there is a but. Well, not a but. They just did a good job that night. When they do the neon and all the weird colors, like, look, what are you doing? You're not Oregon. Stop trying to create some stuff. This is Michigan State. You're a Midwest school. You've been green and white legitimately my whole life. Let's stick with the forest green or whatever it is and white.
I don't disagree with any of that. And all these schools who want to be Oregon, the reason
Michigan was doing extra stuff. Like, hey, keep it simple.
Oh, with the rugby style.
The whole thing about Oregon is that's because they got a crappy logo. Okay, they've got an O on the side of their damn helmet. So you can, of course, you're going to change that a little bit. You want to put the duck feathers on and all that other crap. If you've got a really good logo, if you've got like an iconic logo, you don't change it. Why would you change it?
I'll back you up. Oregon does that because
Phil Knight. Right? Yeah.
Phil Knight.
Yeah, for sure.
If Phil Knight went to Michigan State, it would be the same.
But what I'm saying is I like State's logo itself, all right? I like USC's logo itself.
Agreed.
Michigan's is iconic. There are certain you don't mess with, and there's no need to. You can have alternate jerseys, I get that, maybe alternate pants and all, but the helmet, to me, just my opinion, should stay the way it is, especially if you've got a good-looking logo, and I think they got a great-looking logo.
The difference with ours isn't the decal. Just want to throw that out there.
What do you mean?
Ours is not a decal. Ours is actually hand painted on. It's a process. Like ours is not something you just stick on there.
So those are all hand painted.
Really?
See, you learn something new
100%.
every day on the Braylon Edwards Show.
No decals in Ann Arbor.
No decals in Ann Arbor.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And no wearing of green and no wearing of
Not this week.
red.
No.
And at Michigan State, there's no wearing of blue.
There will be tonight because I will have on my maize and blue. I am not going.
I mean, like in their buildings and things
yeah.
of that nature. Yeah.
I got in trouble for wearing. I was wearing red my freshman year inside Schembeckler Hall. Like I had on like a red FUBU kind of T-shirt type deal, not thinking much of it.
Yeah.
I should have known better. Just told you I was born into it. And Big Johnny and
John Falk,
equipment manager for years upon years upon years, retired probably around like 2015 or so. And then Mike Gittleson, strength and conditioning coach, also 25, 30-year period. Yeah, they weren't happy, and I had to get up early for like a week. I learned my lesson.
That was the punishment.
But I'm telling you, like, that stays with you. I didn't wear red again.
It's real.
I didn't wear red again until, like, I retired from the NFL. Like, legitimately. I mean, I had a couple. I had some Gucci hats, some Gucci stuff that has red in it. But in terms of wearing a red dominant outfit or shirt or I don't know why you would wear red pants. Like, no, just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Just for clarification, too, so my daughter's a senior at MSU, and everything is green and white, and that's great. I love that. My oldest son graduated from Michigan and works for Michigan football. And my wife got him a tie with some red in it. It wasn't a red tie, but there was red was prominent enough. And my son literally looked at it. He opened it up. He said, I don't understand what you expect me to do with this. She goes, I expect you to wear it. He said, I can't wear this, and I won't wear this. So he had to take it back. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not just athletes. It's everybody, right? Yeah. I kind of love that, to be honest with you. Some people may think it's over the top, but not if they went to either of the schools.
Yeah, it robs you of wearing some good colors, though. Like, legitimately, like I never wore green and white in that color combination, even when I was a kid. Like, I just couldn't do it because of Michigan State. Well, insert the New York Jets.
Right.
Then I had to start wearing green and white. Then I started realizing this color doesn't look half bad.
Yeah, it looks good.
It doesn't look half bad. So I won't wear the combo colors, but there is some You know what? I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I
This
wore
Michigan State week.
I bought a green sport jacket when I was in Italy, and I love it. It's really sharp, right?
See, but when in Rome.
You're close. It was close to Rome. Yeah. There was one time I was getting ready to do a hockey game, and it was a Michigan State hockey game, but it wasn't against Michigan. It was Michigan State, and I forget. Okay, and I showed up at a practice, and I had blue jeans on. And it was just casual, kind of relaxing, I mean, and people looked at me and said, "Oh, I see you've got your blue on." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I didn't think anything of it, but they took it that serious.
100%, as they do.
Yeah, and I make sure anytime I broadcast games, especially if they're neutral games, not a hometown announcer, but if it's a neutral game, I do not wear the color of either team for a reason, right?
Speaking of games, speaking of an ugly night, a nasty night, yes, the Detroit Pistons, they do kick the season off tonight, 100%. Me and Kool-Aid, you can get mad all you want to. I cannot watch basketball until Christmas.
Why?
Because it doesn't matter until Christmas.
That's fair.
Until Christmas, when they do the colorways, the different shoes, when you're watching it, like that's when it gets into let me watch, let me dive in. I'm not for what? I'm not watching.
So Braylon's not watching football at the beginning of the year, and he's sure as hell isn't watching baseball until after the All-Star.
Maybe he's paying attention to fantasy basketball.
But hear me out, though.
Yeah.
The NBA doesn't even care about basketball for the first part of the year. Like, them players be out there, they be half-assing it. They don't start.
You mean the players?
Yes. They don't pick up steam until you get to that the interleague challenge or whatever it is.
That's the dumbest thing the league
It is, but that's when
So
they pick up
stupid.
energy. So that's when I'll give them my energy. A night like tonight, there's no baseball. World Series starts on Friday.
Correct.
There's no football, which is crazy because I think there's football every single night now.
College games, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What are you watching? What are you diving into?
Well, last night.
No sports for me tonight.
So last night would have been another perfect example.
Okay.
What are you watching? My daughter was home and she's going back to school. My wife does not want to watch basketball. I mean, she'll watch football for sure. She'll watch some college basketball. She'll watch baseball. It's a hard time for some of the other things. I'm like, this would be a perfect time to watch, a miniseries or a comedy or whatever. And I end up watching Houston, Oklahoma City, which I still can't figure out how they didn't call a technical foul on Kevin Durant, who called timeout, said it. Kool-Aid can relate to this, and literally signaled twice. And I thought to myself, you think the NFL has some credibility problems? That's a credibility problem with the commissioner in attendance.
100%.
That was unbelievable. You know what I'm talking about, right, Kool-Aid?
Yeah, it's wild behavior.
That was
That's all I could do.
It was ridiculous. It was absolutely stunning. So I watched a lot of that. I didn't watch the Lakers and Golden State later, but it would have been a perfect time for me to watch something else. What are you watching if your team's not on? Tonight you got two options. Yeah. You can watch Pistons and Bulls, and you can watch Red Wings and Sabres. And the Red Wings are looking for a sixth straight win. What are you watching?
I'm playing basketball tonight. I'm playing pickup
There you
basketball.
go.
So
Okay, you're going to come home at some point.
Hey,
Yeah.
Shep, did you get that invite?
I didn't get that invite.
I
They don't
didn't get
want
that
me.
invite.
They don't want
Oh.
me. I mean, look, I can tell you this. Even in high school, I was a point guard, but a pass distributing one first. People are going to sag at least 3 feet off, dare me to hit the jumper. All right?
Oh, no, that's what they think
okay.
of me until
That's
I start
okay.
hitting a
If
couple
I'm averaging
threes.
6.5, 7 points a game, that's about it, as long as I got 5 or 6 assists. So you're going to play basketball, but then what are you going to do? You're going to go home and watch what?
probably be really sore after the fact, stretch out a ton, and then probably have the Pistons game on.
Dude, you're too young to be super sore.
I haven't.
Come on.
I'm washed. I'm washed.
Seriously?
I'm washed.
You're sore after you work out at Planet Fitness. I get that. But up and down the floor, come on. You're not going to be sore, are you?
You're too young. I don't want to hear nothing about you being sore.
I
Get
know.
your young self.
I'm
out
gonna come in tomorrow. And I can barely walk. That's all I'll tell you. That's all I'll know.
Man, knock it out. Like, legit, I went to the gym today, did legs. I can barely walk at 42. You're 22. I got 20 years on you, and I'm not complaining.
That's because you're putting 315 on the
wanna
squat. You're putting 315 on the
No,
squat.
I'm not doing these squats.
How many
like
games are you playing tonight?
As long as if I keep winning a lot,
So was it 3-on-3?
Yeah.
Is it
5
5-on-5?
full
Can you
court.
hoop?
I can hoop.
What does I can hoop mean? Like, you nice,
Yeah.
you got a bag.
I get to the rim a lot
Okay.
because no one expects it
Okay.
because
so
I'm
you
small.
So you can deck it
surprisingly
and drive it,
quick.
okay?
Yeah, and then mid-range specialist, like don't miss in the mid-range threes.
Okay.
Okay,
ta-
Sean,
take
Little
it-
questionable.
Livingston us to death.
Low
Yeah,
questionable.
yeah. Take it easy, Richard Hamilton.
I'm saying in the mid-range, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Reggie Miller, here we go. So I'm watching Taz, which is a show on HBO Max that I've been trying.
What is it?
It's called Taz. Mark Ruffalo.
I've watched that.
There you go.
It's really good.
Okay, I'm one episode in.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. It's good.
So I always feel like he does a really good job of like connecting, like whatever it is.
I think he's a very good actor. I'm not a huge fan of his for various reasons, but he's a really good actor.
That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with the other side of it as well. Task is one thing.
Yeah.
The Murdaugh murders, the thing that happened down there in Arkansas, that just dropped on Hulu. So excited to see.
So you're gonna watch that?
I'm gonna watch that, and then for some reason, man, I always go back to like one of my shows that I love that I haven't seen in a while. This time the show is Entourage. I feel like the world is so serious. We come on here, we talk serious about sports. I'm watching the murders. Everything is serious.
Dose of reality.
Documentary space. Like sometimes I like to disconnect. And Entourage is one of those shows where like it's fast paced. It's like Hollywood, it's celebrity, it's acting, it's fun. It's just nonsensical, but with real acting.
Yeah, the Murdaugh murders. I mean, it's just too. For me, it's
Gruesome.
just. It makes me a little uncomfortable. It's you want to hear about it because you want to know. I always wonder who's producing it and who's feeding me this stuff. It's kind of like certain documentaries. Like, where's your angle there? You know what I mean? If you've ever seen some of those about fast foods and how bad it is for you, and I'm thinking, then you look up at the producer and you realize they're a vegan and they don't want you eating meat in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do a little bit of background. My wife has got this is some sick stuff.
Yeah.
But she's gotten into. There's a series about John Wayne Gacy.
Oh yeah,
I've seen preview or trailers of
Have you
that.
seen that?
Tapes?
Yes. Have you seen that?
I
haven't seen it, but
there's
seen
a
the
new
trailer.
one.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, I saw the clown tapes.
Okay.
But like I'm waiting for a series that actually kind of like Monster did with Jeffrey Dahmer, which was spooky in itself.
Yeah.
Because
I was in Milwaukee when that happened and covered it.
That was like one of the first recollections of me remembering like a manhunt, if you will.
Yeah.
Like I remember that as a 12-year-old. I was like the monster in Milwaukee. Like when I see it, like I remember watching the news and reading and listening. So it was a crazy time. But how they did that they really took you through it. Like that's what I've been waiting for John Wayne Gacy. I've read everything. I've seen everything in terms of what he's done, how he got into it. But
why are we fascinated with that stuff?
Because we're human, and humans we crave violence and the unknown and just like the psyche of things. I think we want to process it.
Yeah.
Like, cause when I watch it, I definitely am not trying to learn tips.
No, I
Like,
didn't think you did. Yeah.
When I'm watching it, it's like, what's the psyche of it? How do you get from birth to 37 boys under your basement?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that happen from birth to now coming to your apartment and you have body parts in the freezer? Like, how did you get to this journey? Like, that's what I get fascinated with.
Yeah, what makes you even go there? Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something electronically in your brain that's just not working. Kool-Aid, what are you watching? I know you're watching the Pistons tonight.
He's watching all sports.
But before basketball starts,
Yeah.
and you're not a huge football fan, but
I love football.
You love it, but you're not watching it from on Sunday. Did you wake up, put on Jacksonville and the Rams?
No.
Okay.
he woke up and got them kids.
Yeah, he woke up, got those kids. Daddy, I want some pancakes. And he started making pancakes. What are you watching if you're not watching sports?
If I'm not watching sports, golly, man, that's a tough question. But I love my comedies. I love my dramas. Try and get out to the movies and everything of that nature. I know lately I've been trying to watch that Jack Reacher. With the guy, forget his name, but he wants to play Batman in the DC universe.
Dude, like, he's too swole to be Batman. Like,
Who's that? Who is that? Because
can't
Jack
I
Reacher,
can't
I thought
think of
was
his
Tom Cruise.
That's the
Yeah, but
movie,
they
but
got
the TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a TV show about
He's
it.
like
it's dope.
he's like the imitation John Cena, if you will. It's so funny. Did you see he was on American Idol back in the day? Yeah. I was like, no way.
It's wild,
That's
man.
cap.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I think TV network television sucks.
Yeah, because everything's streaming.
Yeah.
I think everything. I mean, it's just bad. I mean, the TV shows are bad. Like The Equalizer. My sister watches that. I said, "You'll never get that hour back, Lynn. How can you possibly watch that?"
Between all the strikes that they have in Hollywood, the writing strike, the actor strikes, and just I feel like movies and TV show and television have now gone the way of music. To where now in music, because of streaming, because of putting music out and the access that people have to it, music gets put out so fast. Like an artist will put out artists put out 250 songs a year.
It's crazy.
Because you have to keep up.
Yeah.
And I think that's now what happens in television.
Just for
and
pennies
TV.
on the dollar.
We don't care about the quality of a show.
You're right.
We don't care about the quality of a movie. Studio A24, where everybody's watching all those movies. They're popping out 300 movies a year.
That's
So
insane.
it's more of a gotta keep up, gotta keep my name and my face out there versus actually let me dive into a good project that I think people will enjoy.
Yeah,
And
and
now
put some time and effort into it.
Yeah.
Think of the Fox has got some stupid show that they're always.
I ain't watching nothing on Fox except NFL.
Yeah, same here. But they've got that the floor. Rob Lowe does the floor. I mean, who the hell's watching these things?
I've seen that show
Like,
before.
Rob Lowe, why are you on TV
well, now
in
we know who's watching it. It's Ryan.
No.
Ryan's watching it.
I've seen it though before. It's a really dumb show. Don't watch it.
I have no. There's no intention of me watching it. Trust me, absolutely no intention.
Like after Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and A Deal or No Deal, that was the last time I was watching like game shows on TV.
Deal or No Deal was actually decent.
100.
Right.
You like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I can't recall that. I try to stay away
Regis
from network
Philbin?
TV as much as possible, and the reason I stay away from it is because I think it's all fixed. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think
True.
any of it is like this whole reality of Bachelor and all this other crap that my wife and daughter watch.
What?
I think
You
it's
don't
a
tune
joke.
into the Golden Bachelor?
I don't tune into any of that. Sorry, Mel Owens. I'm not
you know
tuning
who
into.
He played with my dad.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He
I
played with
know
Johnny
you would
Wang,
know.
so I actually had
100%.
dinner with the guy
Michigan
last
was, yeah.
summer.
He was there at the. He was there Friday.
Yeah, I bet he was. Yeah.
He's acting like the Golden Bachelor now.
Is he
Like,
really?
I knew Mel
He's
back in the
he's
day.
taken on that
What?
persona.
He's got the white hair. He's got the white highlights. He's legitimately like, "Hey, what's going on, bro?" That's not how you used to greet me, Mel. Get that Hollywood stuff. What's up, Mel? How you doing? He said, "Hey, Braylon, good to see you, bro." Like, bro, we start using bro, Mel. So,
It doesn't work.
man,
As soon as he says, "Hey, that's dope," then you got to call him out for sure.
I rather
Because
say-
only Kool-Aid and you
I'd
can get
rather
away
him
with
say
that.
That's dope than bro.
Okay, that's funny
Jersey
stuff.
Shore guy.
That's really good stuff. All right, we're gonna dive into a lot of football discussion here on the Braylon Edwards Show. Looking forward to it.
Bye week.
We will definitely dive into the things that you got going on in the chat. Absolutely, people love this stuff. We want to get to as much as we possibly can. We would love to talk a little Pistons tonight too, considering the Pistons are taking on the Chicago Bulls. And I've got a little bit of an angle in that regard because there is one guy who won't be with this team, Jaden Ivey. And you can't help but wonder a little bit, when a team is successful without you, like it was with Jaden Ivey, to a certain extent like it was without Aiden Hutchinson, what do you think athletes, where's that mind go? Braylon can help us with that coming up here on the Braylon Edwards Show on Woodward Sports after a brief timeout from Ben Johnson.
He is the fighter, so let him
He
fight
is the fighter.
for you. Look, he's so many spaces that Ben Johnson and his law firm can help you with. We'll just focus on one. The corporations, the governments, and even your own insurance company. That's right. The thing that you never think you need and really don't. But, it's neither here nor there. We'll do whatever it takes to minimize your liability and withhold your compensation. We don't want that to happen. He won't let it happen. So contact him. Make Ben Johnson the first call that you make. And how you get that number, benfights.com. You go on there, you get all the information about the law firm. They'll get you in the game. Let Ben and his team fight for you.
And you know what, Braylon? Tell the good folks about Feldman.
Oh, you like the
We got a little double up for this one. It's a special one, man. For
Me
the
and
people.
you gonna talk during the break. It's Rivalry Week in East Lansing. Check our friends at
Hey,
Feldman
don't go
Chevrolet.
anywhere either,
Lansing Ford.
Shep,
New
I got
car.
you
You see
after
that
this.
2026 Silverado 1500 crew? Oh, let's get it.
better gonna
$179
talk
per
over
month.
the
Or check that 2026 Equinox $229. Price doesn't seem half bad. This Saturday, Spencer, that's right, Spin Mo Racks from Heavyweights will be doing a social media takeover for the streets of East Lansing. Be careful if they're spinning. Before the Michigan versus Michigan State game, thanks to Feldman Chevrolet of Lansing, our friend Joe Rodriguez, the GM. We'll see you up there, but the prices, they still stay the same. Scan that QR code above my head. Get yourself in the game today.
Yo, and if they're not going to East Lansing, tell them where they can watch the game.
Braylon is sneaky funny. I just want
he's
people
coming
to
for me
know.
right now.
You
Hold
know?
on.
Sometimes there are comedians, and they take the stage, and they're supposed to be funny. Braylon's the guy who's saying stuff behind the scenes, and everybody stops and goes, see, that's funny too. You cannot not be funny. It's a Seinfeld line. Listen up. You want to enjoy that Michigan State matchup, the classic showdown, the thing that you always kind of circle on your calendar? I don't blame you. You want to watch it with good people. You want to watch it with good food at your disposal, and you want to watch it with some beers on tap that you can try different ways, right? I mean, that is Art and Jake's, and it's a watch party coming up this coming October 25th, this Saturday. in East Lansing. Art and Jake's has got 6 locations throughout the state of Michigan, and we're going to be in Lansing for the college football show live at Art and Jake's right there. So come hang out with us. Enjoy it. Enjoy the 80 screens. You're not going to miss any college football action. You won't miss any of the Michigan State action. And you can try a different beer for every time out because they've got plenty of it. It's Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill this weekend, October 25th in East Lansing for our watch party on Woodward Sports.
Check this out. The brand new model year has arrived at Feldman Chevrolet, and nobody has more inventory. That's why we're Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. With the biggest selection at the lowest prices, there's never been a better time to check us out. Check out this 2026 Silverado for just $179 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for just $229 a month. So check us out, because around here, it's fun being #1.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shepard Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And Shep.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
2,700 clubs nationwide and 50 here in the great state of Michigan. This is Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. And we want to make sure that you understand, starting your journey, it can be tough, it can be rough, it can even be a little bit nerve-wracking, but we'll make it a little bit more easier because we have trainers on staff, we have great energy, and then there's no judgment. Even so, it's called the judgment-free zone. Trust me, I see it every time I'm in there. So we want you to come, start your journey, have a great time, and then also the gyms are squeaky clean, and that is very, very important after 2020. I want to make sure you guys know that. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Sundays in Detroit, actually Saturdays, the whole weekend got a lot better. All right. The whole week got better with Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea, and, of course, Woodward Sports, real vodka, real iced tea, a crisp sip. That's what it takes. It wets you. Remember Frank the Tank in old school? Where it's just a little sip on your it tastes so good on your lips. That's exactly.
Hey baby, can we stop at KFC?
Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea is all about, right? Absolutely. 100 calories, 4.5% alcohol. Perfect for tailgates, and you're going to want to tailgate this weekend with Michigan and Michigan State. Make sure you are loaded up, locked up. You lock it up. Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea. Please drink responsibly.
Like Andy Dick scene is like. There's a lot of great scenes in the movie. I think the Andy Dick scene in that movie where like Will Ferrell comes back over to the house to talk to his wife, his strange wife at the time.
Yeah,
that's by far my favorite scene. They did a a great conversation. I thought. Their peak and their pinnacle, who crushed it more? Would it be Jim Carrey or would it be Will Ferrell? Ooh. Now, before you answer, obviously, because I went the same way as you initially, because I was giving Jim Carrey just the time, the period he hit for me, not to mention he's a little more of a deeper actor. See him do some things.
Yes.
But Will Ferrell brought a lot of smiles to my face, put a lot of movies, like I've seen a lot of those on repeat. Like,
I don't think there's a movie made by Jim Carrey that I have to watch every time it's on. If I see Old School,
that's a good point.
If I see Old School, I have to watch
Step
it.
Brothers.
If I see Step Brothers, I have to watch it. One of my favorite parts is when he gets shot with the gun in the neck. He goes, "Yes, that's awesome!" Right? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
And you know what's so crazy? Like to your point, he does an even better job when he's not the main character.
Yeah.
Because when he's Chaz in Wedding Crashers. He's the best part of the movie.
Mom, the meatloaf. Absolutely. How can you
there.
not watch that? I mean, that is a fantastic movie.
You just settled it for me, Shepard. I think I got to go with Will Ferrell. There's only so many times I can watch Liar Liar.
Not to mention, Ricky Bobby. I mean, that's not bad either. When he's driving the car with a cougar in it, there's
Game
something
first,
about
last.
I will say this, though. I will say this. Will Ferrell happened to come up in the era of the team-up. And what I mean by that, Adam Sandler started that.
Yeah.
All his boys, all his guys, kind of same movie. Same thing with Will Ferrell. You get Will Ferrell, you get John C. Reilly, Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Like, that's undefeated. So it's Will Ferrell, but it's also Owen Wilson. It's also Vince Vaughn from time to time. Like Jim Carrey, it's him.
Yeah.
And real actors.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else is a comedian but Jim Carrey.
No, that's true. I think that's an excellent point. I think they get labeled a certain actor too, and so when you always have to be on in those types of situations, and if they try to, like Vince Vaughn tried to play in True Detective season 2, remember?
Casino owner.
Yeah, to me it was a hard watch. It was a hard believability character because I'm so used to him doing all the other things.
I can't watch a movie that Vince Vaughn doesn't do his iconic like the little laugh. Like he legitimately didn't do it one time in True Detective. He was serious the whole movie. He was losing the casino, trying to figure out that last score before he left. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of actors, fair or unfair, who do get pigeonholed like that. All right? Whatever. Like, that's why Will Smith, I know how you feel about him, but when he started his career, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and things like that,
Quincy Jones.
Everybody assumed that he was just going to be a comedian or he's going to stay in that realm. And he really branched out and has done a really good job in a lot of different roles. So I respect guys like that who can really take it to a different level, even though I may not always like him in that movie. And that's okay, too. Sometimes the best conversations take place when the microphones aren't on. And actually, that was a great conversation because we didn't expect it. But you had mentioned when we went to break about trap games. And I don't know if this is exactly what you mean, but we were trying to figure out who's the best team in college football. I think Alabama's in the discussion. You said Texas A&M, and then Texas A&M is playing in Baton Rouge, Louisiana this weekend. Define a trap game for me in your mind?
A trap game is when you play an opponent that is less than, you're clearly better than, right before you play a team that matters.
Okay.
And so what happens in those games is the focus on the next game, whether it's the head coach's focus, whether it's the player's focus, whether it's the deal, especially if you're coming off a big win. That's why a lot of teams do not schedule that, the big game, game, big game. But that's what a trap game is. When you're playing a team that you should beat. Back when I was playing at Michigan, we would always have a Northwestern or Indiana right before we would play Ohio State. Like, it'd be a tune-up game, it'd be a buffer game, it'd be a chance to work some of the things that we would use against Ohio State. I think that's when teams lose games, is when you're focusing so much on the following game, but then you're utilizing the things that you're going to do in that game in the game against the first team. Like, when you're not paying attention to what that team is, you're not breaking their film down, you're not coming up with plays and schemes to be successful against that team. You're so worried about that following game. That's a trap game. Yeah, Texas A&M plays at LSU, and then next week they play at Missouri. If they want to be part of that college football playoff, this is a big 2-week stretch for them, no doubt about that. That's not a trap game for them. However, that would be a bad loss because LSU, regardless of record, is not a good team. Brian Kelly does not have the ear. He does not have the vibe, the feel of that team. You can see he's clearly on his way out. Gus Nussmeier, that offense does not look anything like we thought it was going to look like before the season started. Injuries as well. Billy Napier is going to be the head coach at LSU next season. So to know that they have all that going on, if you go in there and you lose, riding the wave that you finally got to, all the money that's being spent, all that Texas oil money being put to good use, if you go in there stinking up and lose Brian Kelly, that will set you back. And that loss will turn into 2 losses because I guarantee if you lose LSU, you'll lose to Missouri as well. Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. The Billy Napier thing is very interesting when you say that, because I wonder how you sell that to LSU and Tiger Nation. Billy Napier was at Louisiana Monroe. Correct. And had a ton of success while he was there. I want to say his last 3 seasons, he won 10 games, 11 games, and 12 games. You're right, 11, 10, and 12. You're 100% right. Knows how to recruit that area. He knows the area, had players in the area. And I think for them, they want to keep the elements of LSU football. They want to keep the elements of the Bayou, but they want to win. They want to win. And I think he's authentic to that area. Billy, we've been cracking jokes. In fact, every time I mention Brian Kelly, Ryan looks at me and is asking me to do the family, if you will. Family. It was unauthentic from start to finish there. And I think nobody ever gelled, nobody ever vibed. I think you get Louisiana. Like, no one's going to have success. Well, Florida hasn't had success since you know who left. Yeah. So sometimes you got to leave programs. It's too much to get jump started. I think he's got boots on ground already. I think he understands the lay of the land. He's authentic, and I think that will be a breath of fresh air. Sometimes when you go so far left, you have to come back home. And I think for LSU, bringing an individual that knows that space, it could be a good move. That's interesting because I wouldn't have thought that. I think that, I think. But who hasn't? Here's the thing: who hasn't snuck it up in Florida since Urban Meyer? No, I'm not going to disagree with that. Okay. I just think it's if I'm the athletic director, I've got to sell my fan base and, more importantly, my donors on Billy Napier. And when he comes to the podium and says, I once went 8-5 with LSU, everything else was under 500, and I got fired at 3-4 coming off a victory, that's a tough thing to sell when you're going into another SEC school. That's all. And at LSU, whether we believe it or not, they feel like they should be in the mix for an SEC title every year, and they need. Because they should. Okay, and they need a coach who can get them there. And Billy Napier didn't do it at Florida. Why in the world would he do it at LSU? In other words, if he's a Louisiana guy, and that's his recruiting base, how come he wasn't recruiting the best in Louisiana to Florida? If he was, how come he wasn't getting the most out of them? Louisiana has one of the best hodgepodge areas of talent in this country, especially when you look at the Baton Rouge / Shreveport / New Orleans. Yeah. That area alone produces some of the best athletes still to this day, even in the NFL, mind you. 5 of the best wide receivers in the league right now, all from the same area in Louisiana. A lot of these guys like to stay in Louisiana. A lot of these guys like to go to LSU. A lot of these guys aren't trying to take chances and go to Florida with a guy that they don't know. They knew him at Louisiana, but they didn't know him at Florida. They didn't know what he was capable of or what he was going to be able to do. So trying to get kids to come to a new jump start at Gainesville, is a little bit harder than trying to get kids to come to a school they already want to go to. Their parents have access to the game. Their family has access to the game. Their boys, their friends, they can all drive up to the game.
A little closer knit. Got you.
I think it'd be a little bit easier for him to recruit in that space.
Love that. Good thoughts.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. At the beginning of the year, we brought up, I would say, a half dozen things about the Detroit Lions. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know you said we're going to revisit this. I think you said this after the last preseason game. We're going to revisit this at the bye week. We're at the bye week. So let's revisit some of those things about the Lions and what people were saying, not necessarily us, but what people were saying and how we responded to it. So why don't we take it through a few ideas here of what the big knock-on was the Lions. First and foremost, you ready?
100%. This is Detroit Lions at the bye week. This is what I believe about them. This is who they are. Going into the season, we talked about it. 6 weeks. First 6 weeks of the season. The teams you played, the spaces you're going to be in, the type of talent that was on those teams, that was going to say a lot about this Detroit Lions team. Mm-hmm. So here we are after 6. The first thing, everybody remembers what the first thing people talked about this year. How about the coordinators now? Going into the season, no Ben Johnson, no Aaron Glenn. What is it going to look like? Will Johnny Moe be able to get this offense going? Will Kelvin Shepard be able to be the heir apparent? Here's how the offense is stacked up this season. Currently, right now, the offensive line, and we'll get into that because they are on here as well. Offensive line is 3rd in the ranking right now. That offensive line, 3rd in the NFL right now. The total EPA right now, Detroit Lions are 7th in total EPA, expected points in attempt or something like that. It's a really good stat.
Yeah.
I'll be able to Shepard know how to break it down a little bit better. Total touchdowns on offense, guess what? 3rd in the NFL. Passing yards per game, 1st in the NFL. Jared Goff, passing touchdowns, he's 3rd in the league. INT, he's 31st. Do the math on that. 2nd fewest interceptions this season. Yards on the season, he's 9th. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 538, he's 5th. 7 touchdowns, he's 1st. And then 50 catches, he's 3rd. What would the offense look like? Will the stars still be able to align? Jahmyr Gibbs, saw that 2 days ago. 526 yards, places him 5th. 6 touchdowns makes him 3rd. And 5.1 yards a carry. I mean, when you run 4.3 like that, it helps. 5.1 yards per carry. That's what offense is right now. That's what offense is, and they're putting up the most points in the NFL, second most behind the Colts. Indianapolis Colts are 1st in the league. This is where the offense was. This is what we wanted to know. That sounds good to me.
It does.
That sounds good to me after 6 games. That sounds like Johnny Moe knows what he's doing. That sounds like it was the right move for Jared Goff to bring in Johnny Moe, to co-sign Johnny Moe because he had that relationship. Everybody seems like they're eating. I'll talk about the offensive line later. Defensive coordinator.
Can I just say one thing? That offensive line, you could be in a lot worse situation. Tampa allowed 30 pressures on Monday night. Yeah. That's the most against any offensive line this year.
That's why I said say this facts on the offensive line because I will bring them in there by themselves.
Yeah.
Here we go. The defensive coordinators. Where's that defense? Where's the defense at?
Impressive.
Right now, points allowed, they're 8th in the league. Total yards, they're 18th in the league. Total defense, they're 8th. They're 3rd in sacks on the season. They're 17th in takeaways. And they have also held 2 teams to 10 or fewer points. They're only giving up 17.4 points a game right now, which puts them under 20.
I like that stat about 10 points or fewer. Yeah,
10
that's
points
awesome.
or fewer. Twice. This is what the defense is. This is what Kelvin Shepard is. And, oh, by the way, what did that game look like this past Monday when there was no Brian Branch, when there was no Kirby Joseph,
Right.
when you get the point?
Yeah.
This is what the defense done in those first 6 games of the season. That was the question. How about those coordinators now? Shep, what would you say about the offense and defensive
I absolutely I think they've done a fantastic job. What Kelvin Shepard did Monday night puts him on other teams' head coaching radars. I truly believe that.
Please repeat. What did Troy Aikman say?
Troy Aikman said it's one of the best defensive efforts he's ever seen. One of the most impressive defensive efforts he's ever seen.
No,
he didn't. I didn't
don't
say.
want the world to hear that.
Yeah, God forbid, right? He didn't say games, but he said efforts, and that tells you something.
That's a good point, Kool-Aid.
To your point,
Gonna have to men in black that.
the Lions are number 1 in the league in fumble recoveries. They are number 2 in pass defended. You mentioned the sacks, and number 6 in interceptions. I'm sorry. You got to have talent. You know how I feel about that. But the dude with the glasses and the headset on in the back wall here, Kelvin Shepard, has been unbelievable.
Also, you have to set your best players up to be the best players. You look at what Johnny Moore has done. Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're talking about him being the best player in the NFL through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You look at what Penei Sewell has done yet again, thanks to Hank Fraley. Appreciate you right there, big guy, former teammate of mine.
Amen to that.
Penei Sewell, what he's doing. Jared Goff. Can Jared Goff be that without Ben Johnson? So 100% he's done it on the opposite side of the ball. Jack Campbell is taking amazing stride. Yeah. He's taking a stride to a different place. You talked about him being one of the best linebackers in the league at his position, maybe even more so. 100% the coordinators, I think they've done their
And I was
job.
going to just add, you know, at first I wanted to disrupt Shep, telling the world about how great, you know, the other Shep is, you know, Shep to Shep Love. But
he's the real Shep.
What I'm starting to realize is Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they have a very, very special skill set at identifying who's going to be great for their staff. And I'm glad that they know how to pivot quickly when they have to. But what we're seeing right now, it ultimately gives me that much more confidence in Dan Campbell as the head man. And the fact that he picked two guys in Johnny Moe and Kelvin Shepard who have not just gotten the job done, but you see these guys doing things that not a lot of people in the national landscape thought that they were going to be capable of.
Who wouldn't want to play for those guys? No, in all honesty, I mean, Braylon brought it up yesterday when you got guys who, okay, maybe somebody gets cut. Maybe somebody moves on. Why wouldn't you want to play for these guys knowing that they're going to put you in the position for success? On top of the defense, we talked a little bit about Aiden Hutchinson and how he's got to jump off the page at you, and I agreed with you. And then I went back and I looked at some numbers. In total pressures generated, he's number 1 in the National Football League with 48, okay? In quarterback hurries, he's number 1 in the National Football League with 33. In strip sacks, he's number 1 in the National Football League. In forced fumbles, he's number 1 in the National Football League. And in sacks overall, he's 4th in the National Football League.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those are big numbers, yes?
Yeah, okay. And the craziest part is it feels like midway through the game, I feel like I haven't seen Hutchinson even in the game, and then all of a sudden it just all comes at once, and he makes big plays.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys are doing my job for me and making my point. Kool-Aid, put number 2 up there for me, if you mind. The second conversation people want to talk about, will Aleem and Aiden be the same?
Right.
Will Aleem and Aiden be the same? I appreciate Shep. That was a great segue. He told you all you need to know about Aiden Hutchinson, and so did Ryan. There's one thing that I would like to add. When someone comes off an injury, you're nervous about the snap count. You're nervous on what it's going to look like. You're nervous on how many times they're going to be in there. How long it's going to take them to get back to fully active. Shep, at his position, he has played the second most snaps in the NFL.
Really?
For starting rush ends, he's played the second most snaps in the NFL.
Behind Myles Garrett?
100%. Okay. It doesn't matter who he's behind. He's second, coming off an injury. At the end of the day, the boy is back. The boy is doing his thing. And like you said, Ryan, there are moments in which it flashes on 1 or 2 plays a little bit more than if it was 4 or 5 consistent plays because of how it looks. You're absolutely correct. The big fella's doing his thing. Speaking of big fellas, Aleem McNeil, we have a 1-game sample size. We have a 1-game sample size of when he came back. And boy, did the guys around him eat because of it. The linebackers, Jack Campbell, the linebackers led the way with tackles. This stems from the big fella up front. Also, Baker Mayfield has been on MVP pace.
Yep.
Correct? Yep. This whole season, MVP Baker. MVP this. He can make the throw. He can do that. Baker looked distressed the whole game. He was under duress. It's because the big fella was back. So I think your 2 guys that you were worried about most coming back after major injuries, check and check.
Yeah, I would say Aleem McNeil, I've always liked him, and I've always thought highly of him. He's better than I think he gets credit for. Because DTs oftentimes, because they take up space and because they take on blockers, and then the linebackers are there to clean some stuff up, he's such an impactful player. When I think of defensive tackles in the National Football League, who are some of the names that come to mind? His name's got to be front and center. Because not just because he's from Detroit, but because he's a disruptive force. It's awesome to watch.
D tackles typically don't get the love they deserve until their team wins, and wins at a heavy clip. Aaron Donald, for as good as he was, you didn't know about him unless you were in the sport until they got to the Super Bowl and lost. And then they got back to the Super Bowl and won, and all the defensive MVPs in a row. For Chris Jones, as good as Chris Jones is, you didn't hear about him until he started winning Super Bowls, and they've gone to the AFC or the Super Bowl each year for the last 8. That's how it is. Aleem McNeil is just as good as Chris Jones was when he blew out. I'm not going that far. It's the other one. However, what happens is he's on his climb. He gets hurt last year. Last year would have been the year that he would have shown how good he was. I told you, I will go back to this. The Indianapolis Colts game last year when he was dump trucking Quentin Nelson, who's one of the best in the game and has been for a while, he made it look easy. I took note of how good he was. So the big fellas, they're back, and they look like they could be better than ever.
It also matters, whether we like it or not, where you're drafted. He's a third-round pick out of NC State. Jalen Carter gets all kinds of love. He was a first-round pick out of Georgia. This guy is as much a disruptive force as Jalen Carter is.
All right, that's a cap because Jalen Carter has been to the Super Bowl and won, and it looked a certain way. Don't do that.
I'm going to do that. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
That's disrespectful then.
Well,
Lee McNeil hasn't done enough to warrant that.
I'm just talking about from a disruptive force and from what he does for this team. I think he's that good. I do, and I don't want to be hyperbolic.
You're entitled to your opinion.
But I've said it about him for a long time, and then the wrap up on the tag team guy you were talking about.
You just said you know he was that good. So how have you said about him that long then?
What do you mean?
You just said you just found out he was that good. You didn't realize that.
No, I recognize how much better he really is than I was giving him credit for.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And I think we get caught up in where people are drafted. And I understand that, okay? I'm not saying Jalen Carter's not a good player. I think he's a hell of a player. It's unbelievable. And he's a key to their success, no doubt. But I think he's just as important to Detroit's success. I just think DTs, especially him, don't get enough love. Cap on this guy that you were talking about. 12 players in the National Football League right now have 30 pressures or more. 12. I think there's 6 who have 35 or more. Aiden Hutchinson has 48, and Jared Verse has 38, next closest to him. And you and I both love Jared Verse. We think he's a phenomenal player. Second-year pro out of Florida State.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta start watching all these hurries and see what the count is, make sure it's accurate. Because they've been doing that since he's been in the league. I'm like, man, is it 48 hurries? I see Jared Verse on every play.
Yeah.
And that's no knock to Aiden, but every time they show the Rams, he is the name that they're mentioning. It is Verse. Verse on the tackle, Verse on the stop, Verse on the sack, Verse on the strip sack, Verse recovering the
Hey,
fumble.
listen, I feel you. I mean, I do. I think there's sometimes, it depends on the website you're looking at.
True.
I can be, misled a little bit by Pro Football Focus or some of the others.
I take
so
it
I'm
with
you
a grain of salt when it comes to PFF.
Fair enough. All right, keep it rolling. What's number 3?
3. This was another big question going into the season. How will the Lions fare through the first 6? I think we already talked about that more so than anything. Here's the first 6. Lions 4-2. We talked about it going through this schedule before the season started. They had to play the Chiefs. They had to play the Baltimore Ravens. They had to play the Chicago Bears. They had to play the Green Bay Packers to open up the season and get it going. Had to play the Cincinnati Bengals. We were expecting Joe Burrow. At the end of the day, you play who's in front of you. After 6 games, they're 4-2. You heard the offensive statistics. You heard the defensive statistics. You can throw out the first game of the season. I give it a watch. I don't even count it. Out of sight, out of mind. When you don't play in the preseason, this is what happens. Look at that team now. The Detroit Lions will beat the Green Bay Packers by at least double-digit points right now, in my mind. I watched that game. The Chiefs game, you lost. And we can talk about the semantics of what happened with Jared Goff and what happened after that. You lost. You didn't necessarily play that good, and your stars, Aiden Hutchinson, lined up offsides. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't drop anything. Well, he dropped the first down on that one. That would have been big. So you lost that game. Looking at it through that lens, you're 4-2, and you're getting better. And you just beat a team going into your bye that is going to be a thorn in your side, potentially at the end of the year, has been a thorn in your side up to this point in the last 3 years. I think they are on pace. They are on par. They have actually they've probably exceeded where I thought they would be. Now, I had them going 5-1 after 6. I had them only losing to Baltimore in my original.
That's right.
But even with that, I can witness, I like what the Lions are doing, some things that I want to see, but they got 10 games left. That's what people got to pay attention to.
And getting healthier.
They have 10 games left. They're getting people healthy. They're going to be a much better version of themselves when you get to the Thanksgiving game.
How much better is what people will ask. How much better?
A lot better, because the thing that you saw on defense from them, I think you'll start to see that even when the starters get back. That discipline to detail, that attention to detail, if you will. Lee McNeil is back. Like, that's going to look different when you get Brian Branch back. When you get Kirby Joseph back, that looks a lot different. And then on offense, Tate Ratledge is getting better and better and better and better and better by the week.
Yeah.
And I also think Taylor Decker, hopefully, can get more healthy.
When you bring up the defense, just real quick, because I don't want to get too into the weeds on this, but when you bring up the defense and Aleem McNeil is in there and however many snaps, I forget how many snaps he played. You said about 15 or 16 is what you would expect. I'll have to look that up. But knowing that those guys rotate, you're playing 2 DTs, okay? How much better is that going to mean for Lopez, for Reeder, for Williams, and for McNeil? If you're rotating those 4 guys, you've got better, bigger bodies in there in the rotation. That's got to help them to stay fresh, right? You would think better production from them, no?
Well, you just answered the question. It's keeping them fresh. You're talking about somebody as disruptive as Aleem McNeil, and especially in the hands-up space as Talik Williams has been this year. And DJ Reader has just been really steady for the Lions. I think he doesn't get enough credit for the steadiness that he's provided since the time he's gotten here. He's been very steady. Having fresh guys that get tired the fastest, no surprise, are the defensive linemen. Like, those are the guys that get tired the fastest. To have 4 guys like that can rotate, especially a 3 that you know that can be, dare I say, dominant, all 3, that's good to have because that's going to free up Aiden Hutchinson for a lot of one-on-ones. He's going to catch people sideways. On the opposite side, Muhammad, but then also it helps out Jack Campbell in the linebacker corps. Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell can be so much better with Baby Thor as well, Alex Anzalone, when you have the big guys up front. So he allows that freshness to happen by being healthy.
How surprised would you be if I told you that based on Pro Football Reference, different website, okay, Aleem McNeil played 44 snaps on defense Monday night and 1 on special teams. So 45 total snaps. That stunned me.
So, yes, it stunned me as well. But what it says is, remember the question I asked? I said, how far along is he?
Yeah.
I said, is this, he could have played 3-4 weeks ago, and they did the process right, and they're presenting this like it's all hands on deck, or is it true all hands on deck? And now what we see based on those numbers, he could have played 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they saved him because of the Browns, don't need you. Because of the Bengals, don't need you. Play against the Chiefs, thought we might have had one. Now we'll play you against Tampa when you're already ready to play. So kudos to Dr. Lynch, who's also my doctor, and that med team over there, Henry Ford, also the training staff.
Dude, maybe some magic dust going on with the Lions on a pretty regular basis where Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are like, you know what? We're going to save them, and we'll see what we can do. And boom, they get by.
If ever there was a franchise that deserved magic dust, it would be the Detroit Lions. Like, even last year, what you did to us, like, you bought us to 15-2, but you injured the whole damn defense. And then David Montgomery. So
true.
They can use it. It is fair.
So true. All right, we're at number 3. We've got a few more to go. We will get to that, plus your chats and the super chats. This is really good stuff. Braylon Edwards, where the Lions are at right now, and compared to the preseason discussion, where he thinks they should be. So we'll get to all that coming up as we roll on a Wednesday afternoon on Woodward Sports.
The favorite thing that I like to do when I work out is the recovery part. It is very important to the workout, being in shape, doing the things you got to recover. You have to put the right things in your body so that you can refuel, get back to life, and then the following workout, you will be back. Join me. Download the Healthy Rewards app and build your perfect post-workout routine with Smoothie King. And the cool thing about the Smoothie King smoothies, real fruit, protein, and the ingredients, they just help me refuel, and they'll help you too. Also, we're proud to do the High School Athlete of the Week with Smoothie King. You know the spill, you know the deal. Scan the QR code above my head. That's how you can nominate an individual that you believe deserves it for all the right reasons. We'll get the nominees. We'll check it out. And if your individual wins, we'll give you an email and give you a call. Special shout out to the Lee Foundation for making this possible. Lee helps provide student athletes with the tools to excel in reaching their academic and athletic goals, as well as impacting their community. And believe you me, you are definitely impacting the community in the right way.
I was thinking about Sharon's heating and air conditioning yesterday because we had an issue at our house. And you realize just how important it is to have somebody you trust. So I was texting some friends, hey, do you guys know a good plumber, for example? Now, Sharon's heating and air conditioning doesn't deal with that, but it does give you great confidence when you have somebody you can trust working on the most important investment in your life, your home. They've been doing it for 40 years. And after all, they do it with heating, they do it with cooling, indoor air quality, water heaters, whole home generators, memberships, giving you deals like right now. If you're a DTE gas customer, you get a free furnace tune-up through December 1st. It's all at Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today, 734-238-3839, or just scan that QR code above my head and make sure you tell them Woodward Sports and the Braylon Edwards Show sent you.
happy to see me. See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions!
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shepard Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions!
Go on ahead and get a jump on this info by scanning that QR code above my head. And if you're looking for the ultimate pickleball experience, you got to check out Wicked Pickles, Metro Detroit's hottest indoor pickleball spot. The thing that I love the most is not just the 10 climate-controlled courts, so it's always going to be a good time playing, but also the daily open play for all levels. That's for Ryan and I, of course. He still thinks that if he goes out there, he's going to get worked on a pickleball court.
I will.
We got to try, man. We got to try. Especially with the competition that's on the way.
He gets really tired easily.
He gets tired. I forgot.
I said
all
sore.
about
I said
that,
sore.
Man. Come on, Ryan. You can't let us down. For the Booth brothers, you got to do this thing. And we want to see you guys out there too. All right. Whether it's groups of 10 to 200, they can accommodate you. And don't miss APA Michigan Gold Club. That's November 22nd to the 23rd. Sign up at pickleballtournaments.com or go on ahead and make sure that you scan that QR code. It's a little bit easier process too. And mark your calendars for the Woodward Sports Pickleball Party. That is January 9th. Details will be coming soon.
Look, I'm going to need this massage chair.
There was a pregnant pause there. Was that for a fact?
No, I was just waiting for the thing to come on the screen. But no, I'm going to need this massage chair immediately tomorrow. I know I'll use it maybe beforehand to loosen up a little bit. And Massage Chair House is great for upgrading your relaxation game, or just a recovery after a long hoop session. The largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Hey, and we back.
By the way, I mean, we're going to get back into the lines. Did you watch? Did you see how good Sagoon was last night for Houston? He had 39 and 11. 39, 11, and 7. I mean, dude's pretty good, man. Pretty damn good. But so is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who I like a lot. Did you see their rings? The rings they were presented with?
I didn't see them, but at the end of the day, it gets to a point where nothing can surprise me now.
I was going to ask you.
They're not even. They're special. I would be hating if I said that, but once. Who was it? Once they opened it up and it was like the stadium was in the ring.
Yeah.
All night.
Yeah.
It's just
Dude, honest to God, it's like the size of a little home.
There'll be two
fingers.
There'll be two fingers heavy.
Yes.
Within the next 5 years.
It's like every team's got to outdo the other team, no matter the sport. It was nauseating how big they are.
I feel like with the rings, you should be able to outdo only yourself. So if you're putting a stadium in there, it better be ring like 4. It can't be like your first ring. You're just outdoing a team that might have been better than you.
Who put the ring? And it's funny you say that because I want to say it may have been the Patriots. Oh no, it was
Chiefs.
It was the Rams.
Oh,
it was the Rams and they won.
Man.
Theirs opened up. The stadium in it.
Did you? But in all honesty, instead of looking like a bumper hitch, wouldn't you like a ring that you could actually wear? And I'm not saying it should be the 1984 ring from the Tigers, which looks like a high school ring. It does. It literally looks like somebody's high school ring from back in the day. It's awful. And no offense to them. Like, if I were the Tigers, I'd redo all of them. They deserve something better than that. But the rings that OKC got last night were, they're like a shoe. You can't wear that out in public.
Also, and you don't. They don't wear them out in public.
No.
They put them in a case and keep them on display. It's also their first one.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think for that, when it's the
Those
first
things are
one
huge.
for a franchise, it's got to be like. You know who it was? I know it's the Eagles. The Eagles had the one where it opened up.
Okay, now it's the Eagles. Okay,
because it was their first one. That's what it was their first one. The one they won in 2017.
Oh, when Foles won it.
Yeah,
okay, you're not talking about last year. Okay,
I'm talking about 17.
All right.
Foles.
Look, my son works for Michigan football. They won a national championship, as you know, and so he got a ring.
Yeah.
But he also got a ring for the semifinals for the Big Ten championship and winning the Big Ten. He got literally a box with 4 rings in it. He can't wear any of those. They're massive.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, but it's still all it is, hey, here's my rings. Check it out.
Now it's unfortunate because you're already even though I don't agree with this, I understand you're already a jackass if you wear a Super Bowl ring or a championship ring. Like, why is he wearing that ring? If you wear one of those rings, you're definitely a piece of work.
Or just put them on your hand and take a picture of it every once in a while, and you can put that out.
And then wear the T-shirt.
Yeah, and wear the T-shirt.
Put the picture on the T-shirt and wear that.
All right, let's dive back into you are a jackass if you wear. What the hell are they wearing that for? I got a Big Ten championship ring once,
I never wear mine.
When I called games, I made sure I wore it. I did. I wore it at the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
I wore it in the NCAA tournament. Why not?
My mom gets mad I never wear mine. I'm like, for what? I don't need to.
Well, then what are you doing with it? Is it in a safety deposit box?
I know I have them.
Okay.
I know I achieved them.
Yeah.
I'll bring them out every once in a while. Like, to be honest, I dropped the ball on this past weekend with my dad.
I was just going to ask you.
Like, I should have worn them there.
Yeah.
And I didn't because I don't think to wear them. That would have been a good place to
Did your dad and his teammates get one?
They wore theirs.
Okay, good.
And my dad's got 2. 1, 2. He's got 3 Big Ten championships.
Which one does he wear more often? Don't know.
Probably 1980.
Okay. Let's get back to the Lions discussion. Prior to the season, right after the last exhibition game, Braylon brought up 6 topics that he thought would be discussed or we all recognized were discussed the most. And we wanted to revisit them at the break. That's what he said. At the bye week, we're going to revisit them. We've gotten through the first 3. Yeah. We had the coordinators. Will Aleem McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson be back to their old form? And we had
faring through 6.
The Lions faring through 6. Let's get to the other 3. Let's see it up there. What's number 4 on your list?
Well, the big man himself, and that's Dan Campbell. Will he be enough? That was the conversation. This kind of feeds into number 1, the coordinator's leaving, but there was a deeper conversation. Had Dan Campbell shown you enough where you believe this guy could lead this team, where you believed he can actually lead you to the championship, to actually win the Lombardi Trophy? Is he enough? So far, has he done enough to make you feel like that? In my opinion, yes. He had an ugly game in the beginning of the season against the Green Bay Packers. They lost the ugly game, and a lot of people were jumping off the bandwagon. A lot of people had real questions. We were those that had real questions, not necessarily jumping off. And what did he do after that? Well, he proceeds to win 3 games in a row, proceeds to keep his team in check, proceeds to, with the coordinators, of course, look like a brand of football that we're very familiar with. However, keeping the same, like playfulness, still keeping the same vibes, but still keeping that same grit. Still keeping that same effort. And then also, they lose game 4 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't seem like they were prepared, just mentally, some space in that game. How do you respond? 52 regular season games, they have not lost back-to-back. That's how he responded. That's how the Lions responded. That is the head man. That is his impression. That is his impression. At some point, you have to give Dan Campbell credit. So looking at him, is he enough? You're damn sure straight. And I think he's operating. In fact, I know he's operating in a space of confidence. He's playing his game. He's coaching his way. And I think the players are buying in. Well, not buying in. They bought in years ago. The young guys now understand that as well. I think some of the younger players are starting to play well. So just looking at what it looks like from afar, Dan Campbell's more than enough for this Detroit Lions team because he makes the smart decisions.
Preach.
And the best thing about him is he understands I'm not the smartest man in the room, which makes him one of the smartest men in the room. You can recognize that it's not you, and you hire people that can be that version to help. That's brilliant. So right now he's on pace for NFL Coach of the Year, in my opinion.
I agree. He's one of my favorite quotes from Dan Campbell came at the podium Monday night. And when people were wondering about how is your team able to respond in adversity, and his quote was, "This is what's expected here. We've got a special group of coaches and players. They're competitive. They want to win, and we don't make more of things than what they need to be." That was written in The Athletic. Nick Baumgartner wrote a really good article about it. But that first line, "This is what's expected here," and I thought to myself when I heard that, I said, "Thank you." Literally out loud, I said, "Thank you." Can we hold that standard for other teams, please? This is what's expected. When we sit there and tell people it's okay to expect a Super Bowl, just because it's foreign to us, because we've never been there, and like the Seattle Mariners have never been to a World Series, it's okay to expect it when you think your team and coaching staff is good enough. It's okay to expect an ALCS when you have a 15-game lead. It's okay to expect a playoff run when your hockey team hasn't been there in 9 years. And it's okay to expect your team to be a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference when Indiana isn't as good, Boston's not as good, and, a team here or there might be on the fence a little bit. Raise the damn bar for expectations. Dan Campbell's done it, and he's not afraid of it. Everybody else seems to be afraid of it, including fans of other teams in this market.
Shep going to find a way to get them Tigers in there. Shep going to find a way to sneak them Tigers in the conversation. No, I agree with you 100%. And what I love about it even more, Shep, is when Amon-Ra St. Brown goes on his podcast, and what he says when his brother asked him about the penalty, what did he say? Right. Man, we ain't lose because of that penalty. He shut it down cold. You know why he shut it down cold? Because Dan Campbell shut it down cold. Dan Campbell didn't allow that to be the reason that they went off the deep end. Or he said, man, we got effed on that play, but we lost this game.
Yeah.
Saint, Aiden, Jared. I can point to guys. So the fact that he made that the moniker that week, that's also what the players took.
Amen.
And the players went to the game. They said, look, not 2 in a row.
Right.
They were so past the Kansas City Chiefs game before we were. They were past it.
Exactly.
They were past it, and they were on to no back-to-back.
You are so right. We dwelled on it, not necessarily you, but I know I did. We dwelled on it on every single day that ended in Y until a new game came, right?
That's fair.
And you know what he does? I don't want to see anybody sucking their thumb.
Yeah.
Nobody's grabbing a blankie. Yeah. No one's rolling up in the corner, and no one's pointing fingers, and no one's going to sit there and say, it ain't us. Own your shit and move on. Yeah. That's exactly what they've done.
100%.
Yeah.
And the best thing is don't allow 1 to become 2.
Right.
And that's what Dan Campbell has not allowed his ball club to do in the last 51 games. He has not let 1 loss beat him twice. And I appreciate that about him. So is he enough? More than enough.
Yeah, it's such a great point. Here's what I love most about the Detroit sports professional coaches right now. Most of them are old school. J.B. Bickerstaff is not afraid to chew some tail. Todd McClellan will call you out. Dan Campbell has high expectations and says, you're not going to use that excuse today. And A.J. Hinch will tell you to your face, you're not good enough right now. You've got to be better. I love that because that's how you were coached when you were growing up. That's how I was parented and coached when I was growing up. And I hope we get back to more of that stuff because it's needed. And players do respond as long as it's done with respect. Go ahead. What's number 5?
100%. And then the last one, number 5. Let's see where we're at with it. Boom. This is why I said don't give too much in the first one because I knew this would come back around. Can the O-line survive without Frank and Kev? Now, obviously, we're talking about Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in the last 25 years, and then we're talking about Kevin Zeiler. Only 1 year with the Detroit Lions, but what he helped that offensive line do, especially on the right side, it led to some long runs. It led to a lot of yardage by Dave Montgomery as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown, as Jahmyr Gibbs. If Dave Montgomery doesn't get hurt, they would have had 2,000-yard rushers. Let that sink in. That's how good the offensive line was last year. Fast forward. Those guys are good. Those guys are gone. You bring in the new guys. You move Graham Glasgow to the center position. You draft Tate Rowledge. You make him your right guard. And Christian Mahogany that played a couple games for you last season, you make him your left guard. I told you before we started the show, I did. 3rd overall right now. That is what the rank is of the Detroit Lions, and that rank is based on your pass pro connected to your run pro. And they get 3rd overall. This is after 6 games, mind you. So they had to play some teams. Could they fare against the defensive lines of, Kansas City Chiefs? Obviously lost that game, but the Baltimore Ravens, Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what Taylor Decker did to Myles Garrett? And not did, but in the sense of being able to shadow, being able to move. Now, granted, that's why he missed the next game. But that's the type of work, that's the type of play that we're getting out of this offensive line. And who I should have put on this graphic, and it's disrespectful, is Hank Fraley. Mm-hmm. Because Hank Fraley he's the piece that has been here through it all. He's been rotating these offensive lines. Remember, this offensive line has been a constant door of who's playing left, who's playing right. Who's left, who's right in terms of guard. Who's playing left guard, who's playing right guard.
Yeah, the tackles have been stabilized.
Yeah, they've been stable as well as the center, with the exception of this year. So Hank Fraley, kudos to you because these guys are getting better and better and better. You're starting to see the communication. You're starting to see Tate Rowledge communicate on his own. Mm-hmm. You're starting to see him tap Graham Glasgow before play goes. So I think Panay is the best offensive lineman in football right now, and he's got a guy next to him that is on his way up the ladder. And Christian Mahogany is also figuring it out on the left side. So that offensive line is giving you everything you want. Also, look at what Jahmyr Gibbs' stats are. Look at what his numbers are. Look at Jared Goff. Because for him to have a pocket that clean, for him to be able to have the yards and the time, somebody's got to be blocking for him, and that's what the offensive line is doing. So all 5 questions coming into this season, I think we all had them. Whether you were more on one or more on another, we all had that as a question, and if you didn't, then you don't know the game. They've checked off all those boxes. They've checked them off, and at the bye, they're a better version of themselves, and they're 4-2. So I think the Lions are doing exactly what they need to do to be on the trajectory to be one of those teams or be the team. I think right now they're the best team in the NFC, and I got the Rams second.
In fairness to you, you have given Hank Fraley a ton of love all season long, and for good reason. I would argue Detroit's the best team in the National Football League right now. But those are good debates, right? I love it.
Agree,
do you think Kevin Zeitler wishes he was back in Detroit rather than Tennessee?
What money-wise did he get? Because
I want to say family did matter, I think, in his case.
Yeah, I wanted to say $9 million. I could be wrong there.
So when you get to the end of your career, which he clearly is, like Kevin Zeitler, maybe we'll have a year after this.
He's 35 years old now.
Yeah. But
Shep is on the money.
There you go.
$9 million.
Yeah.
You start counting that cheese.
Yeah,
you start looking at it a little different. Like, what were the Lions willing to give? Like, that money goes a long way. One thing my dad told me when I was about to get ready to retire, when I was done, like I said, yo, Dad, I think I'm going to hang him up. I ain't number one. He always calls me number one. And then when I was league, he called me 17. He said, 17, but it's not a lot of jobs that pay $5 million a year.
Right.
It's not a lot of jobs you can walk into that pay, because at that time I was making 1.2 or 3 or 4, whatever it was. He says, not jobs you can walk into making $1.4 million. So if you're ready,
just make sure you're ready is what he's telling
me.
me.
So that's more so what I'm saying. Like, it's not a lot of jobs that's paying $9 million at 36 that you can just walk into. So if you got an opportunity, I get it.
Yeah. Some fans would quickly argue, do you need to when you're making that much money?
Yes, because
lifestyle.
first of all, because when you don't have $1 million, like you think $1 million will last you the rest of your lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have kids, 4 kids, when you have a wife, when you have a life, when you're trying to prepare for decades later, you need all the chips that you can. And he's a right guard that hasn't made a ton of cash in the scope of what you think. You think big money, you think, you know, what Jared Goff's making. That ain't what he's made over his career. In fact, Jared Goff this year has made probably more than he's made in the entirety of his career. So,
speaking of retirement, your friend who you saw last weekend, Brandon Graham,
BG!
announced, I think it was today, that he's coming back. In Philadelphia, he signed a 1-year contract.
So
why do you think that is?
I knew this too, though. I saw him. I saw him. I couldn't let the cat out the bag. I saw him Saturday at the Washington game. He was the captain, the honorary captain, deservedly so. Love him so much, man. He is authentically a good brother. He is authentically a good father, and he's just authentic. Because when you retire on top, you have a plan. Before the season starts, he and his wife, they sit down maybe with the kids, maybe just themselves, and you say, all right, look, this is going to be the last year. Like, I'm at that point. I've got a ring. I played in 2 Super Bowls. I've got the accolades. Now, he put some bread away. He put some bread away. I'm at the point now I want to be a father, have more time, be a husband more. Like, I'm good. My body is at his last leg. Well, for him, last arm, last thing. So after this year, let's make it happen. What happens? They go out, they win the Super Bowl. It's the best way to go out on top. Yeah. Didn't play much towards the end of the season. Played in the playoffs. Was more of a leader because that's what that team needed last year.
Yeah.
Especially with the Jalen and AJ and him reading the Bible and all. He was able to muster that team back together. Fast forward, he retires. You enjoy that March. You can enjoy that in April. You sip Mai Tais in May. You're on the beach still riding the wave. The career is over.
Taking your kids to class.
Taking your kids to class. Now here's summer. You're hanging out with the kids and the wife. Now it's July, and you're like, all right, man, I'm getting tired of these people.
And they're getting tired of me.
Because you never spend that much time with your family when you're playing for that long. Like, legitimately, like, you're all, with the exception of like 2 months, and you're dialed into the work at the facility, watching film, training, practicing, watching film. Here's practice again. Here's training camp. Here's the season.
And it's every day.
So you don't get a lot of time. So now you're like, all right, like, yes, all right, I can go to Costco. All right, yes, we can go to Costco. Yes, Daddy will come play catch. Yeah. Meanwhile, season starts. You've missed training camp, which you didn't want to operate in anyway. That's why you didn't care about August. Now the season starts. Now this is the first time that you haven't put on pads in September. Now this is the first time that
in decades.
Yeah. In decades. Now you start to realize, well, I have still been working out. Well, I'm still in. Nah. It's too crazy. It's too crazy. Team's good. Is the team good? Now you're looking at your team where Brandon Graham is Mr. Philadelphia. It's Jason Kelce and him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's Jason Kelce and him. So he has a greater stake in terms of the emotional connection. Now he's watching his team. They lose a game. Here's A.J. Brown again. Here's Jalen at the end of the bench. Nick Sirianni can't get the team on track. You know what? I got to get back. So between all of that, this is how you get back to announcing it. He has to be back for that team, for the connection. Plus, it's like Joe Flacco said.
Yeah.
I got so much left. Well, not so much. He said, but I have enough. He said, I still have it in my system. I would be damned if I didn't play because I don't want to be 45, which he almost is.
With regrets.
I don't want to be 50. And I'm like, if I could have played that year. I think I could have helped the team out. I think I would have been better. So he's operating from that space.
Yeah, those are great accolades, and I agree with all that. And it's an interesting synopsis of what a guy might be going through, or a female professional athlete. Do you think it's hard for them to watch games? Was it hard for you to watch games because you know that you were as good or could, especially when you first retired is what I mean, that you could still do something that you loved and maybe better than the person you're watching at the time?
It wasn't necessarily hard for me in the beginning. It got hard later. I think it's a delayed kind of reaction, if you will, maybe like year 3, 4. But it wasn't hard in the beginning because, Jets still sucked. And, Browns still suck. Seattle I didn't necessarily play for a lot. And then by the time I got to San Francisco, like I feel like it was over for me a little bit. So I didn't watch that and be like, oh, man, I still can play.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I didn't have that connection to a team, the Jets, in a 3-year space. Not like him. So, like, his connection, when I watched the Jets fall apart, I'm like, man, they suck since I've been gone.
Yeah.
When he watches the Eagles, it's like, no, this is unacceptable.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable. Nick, what are the guys? He still has access to Nick Sirianni. He can call him and say, what are we doing?
Yeah.
He's still got that type of connection to the team. So the fact that he just retired, he still could play.
He's also beloved.
And they need him.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I said I'm still not buying the Eagles. I know they blew out whoever they played last game, and they had all the yards, and he looked
Minnesota,
great.
yeah.
He looked like I still didn't buy it because Saquon Barkley still looks uncertain.
Right.
He still looks awkward at the podium, and they still don't have a rest game.
They still don't look like they're connected,
Yeah.
whereas they certainly did before. And he's going to help them. There's no doubt about that. I wonder if that call, first of all, there's two things. I wonder who made the call first, him or the front office for Philadelphia. Second thing would be, if Zadarius Smith didn't retire, would Brandon Graham even be considered coming back?
Zadarius Smith couldn't fix like the connection with the team. Like, he couldn't be a leader that they need because Brandon's the leader.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that you need a leader. You need him.
Him, yeah.
So I think the call was made by Nick Sirianni in that front office. The call was made by Howie.
Okay.
And followed up by Nick, hey, get back.
Yeah.
Get back. Like, we'll figure out the pay structure. We'll set it up nice and comfortable.
What would it take?
We won't have you do much, but we need you in more spaces than being on the field getting 11 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what they need out of him is deeper than, gameplay.
Yeah, there's something to that for sure, and you've always felt like it's a real thing. I mean, that's he's going to add that one element that they've been missing, and doing it without necessarily being super productive. He played 46% of the snaps last year. If he played 30% this year for the rest of the season, it's better than maybe somebody else in that space who they could have traded for, playing even a bigger percentage because of what he means to that locker room as much as much.
Watch this. They would be undefeated if he would have been playing this season. Because I'm going to take it a step further. They lost that first game of the season. They had no defensive line. They almost lost. They lost to the Cowboys, right? Wasn't that they beat the Cowboys.
I thought they beat the Cowboys.
No, sorry, they beat the Cowboys. They wouldn't be undefeated, but I guarantee you what wouldn't have happened. Jalen Carter wouldn't spit in Dak Prescott's face.
Yeah.
So that's what they need out of him. And you can say, well, how does one grown man control another grown man? He wouldn't have let his ass go into the other huddle.
Yeah.
So when he proceeds to go over there, that's Brandon Graham. All right, come on, get back.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, let's get over here. That's what Brandon Graham provides. So it's a little deeper than actual game.
There's a fumble. There was the two losses for the Eagles without Brandon Graham this year are to Denver.
That's what it was.
And the Giants.
Yeah.
And I doubt they lose to the Giants with a guy like Brandon Graham leading the way. All right, more to come here.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants. That's definitely Brandon Graham because Michigan would have lost to Appalachian State, I believe.
Yeah, they lost to the Giants. They lost 34-17 2 weeks ago. They beat Minnesota last week.
That was a come-out party.
Yeah, for the Jackson Dart. Yeah, everybody, including Anson, just absolutely loves him. We love Les Stanford, Buick GMC. Absolutely love them because of all the great deals that they can provide and how they treat you as much as anything else. Customer service today, it's kind of a very tricky situation because there used to be the old school, the customer's always right, and now sometimes those customers try to take advantage of you. The beauty of what Les Stanford Buick GMC has right now is they're going to be very fair with you, all right? And they know the deals that they have, nobody else can touch. Look at them right there. You see that? $599? Yeah, for the Hummer EV SUT, that's the least special, $599 plus tax. Look at the 2025 Lyric SUV special right now, $489. How about the 2025 Equinox EV, $229 a month plus tax? That's the way they do things. They do things up front, above board, looking you in the eye, giving you a handshake, and telling you, you know what, this is the place you want to be. You want to be associated with good people. Les Stanford Buick GMC is the place to go. Go to lesstanford.com.
Join the Unlimited Club and take advantage of all the perks of being a member at Jack's Car Wash, the best car wash in the state, and it's not up for debate. 40 locations around the great state of Michigan, free vacuums, free compressed air. They do all the things. But we'll start off with a free car wash. Text WSN into 888-522-1729. Again, 888-522-1729. Text that, get yourself a free car wash, and then rock and roll from there. Don't forget about that unlimited plan. That is the plan. It's a rainy day outside, but guess what? The sun will come out, like Orphan Annie said, and you'll need your car wash.
You beat me to it.
I beat you to it.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it, right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And Shep.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
All right. Looking for a way to support athletes with physical disabilities? I told you about this, but guess what? I told you about the Top Golf deal. How about we do this all in one motion? If you want to come out and be a part of the fun, we're giving away a bay at Top Golf. For all my top golfers out there, which is everybody, because at the end of the day, it's fun, even if you're not a golfer. To the listener who sends the best Dan Campbell post-game speech impression. Now, what you got to do is 45 seconds or less, if you will, or maybe we'll give you a minute. Be Dan Campbell. You guys watch these games all the time. You see the locker room. You see the energy. You see what he does in those moments to congratulate his guys and keep them together. Well, give us that. What you do is you video yourself and you send it in to Kool-Aid. That's right, Kool-Aid at woodwardsports.com. We will be selecting a winner live on Friday, October 31st, Halloween. This is what we do. This is for Dr. Pierce and his Athletes Unlimited. Also, you know who he is. He's the injury insider. Scan the QR code today.
We'll talk to him tomorrow here on the Braylon Edwards Show. It was raining when I came in today, so I had to beat some of that downpour. But when I got here, I was smiling because Buddy stopped by. Buddy stopped by with 5 different pies, and Ryan saved me a couple of pieces. It was a special moment. I'm not going to lie.
It sounds like a big day. It's a high day for us.
It was a big day. It was a really big day for me, yeah. The rest of the day, I don't care if it goes right in the toilet. I still had a good day for the most part because I had Buddy's Pizza, and my friend Ryan was able to help me out. I don't know if he used the promo code 10meal, but if he did, it would be smart because it would have saved him 10%. Bottom line is, I got Detroit's original style deep dish pizza at Buddy's today, and I'm happy because of it. They've got 22 locations throughout the state. You want to find the one closest to you, go to buddyspizza.com.
And we back.
Best matchup in the NBA tonight. You ready? They take a page from the NFL. Say what you want about the NFL, and I've said plenty of it. I've said a lot. I open myself up for that. I say a lot of bad things about the NFL, but they know what the hell they're doing with their scheduling. They do. They know when to schedule certain things. Yeah, I mean, look, there's some where you're like Sunday night football or Thursday night football. It's Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. That turned out to be a hell of a football game.
All right. Who called it?
Yeah.
40-year-olds.
5 really good games tonight. You ready? Tell me what's the best. San Antonio at Dallas. Wembanyama against Flag.
No Kyrie Irving.
Right? But it's a battle of Texas, if you will.
Okay.
Philadelphia at Boston. Okay. Well, you shake your head, but I mean, historically, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cleveland against New York.
Okay. That's a good one.
Miami against Orlando.
That's a good
Battle of Florida.
That's
right?
a good one.
And Detroit against Chicago.
Cleveland against New York.
I agree.
Cleveland against New York.
Yep.
Cleveland versus New York, and then for the optics, you gotta like the Texas matchup.
I love the Spurs Mavs.
Yeah.
Everybody
Where's
wants to see
Cooper
Cooper Flag and Victor
AD.
Wembanyama. Yeah.
AD and Victor Wembanyama worth itself. It's worth its weight in gold alone.
It's a splashy matchup.
What was the third matchup? There was a note that
I said Miami against Orlando. I said Philadelphia against Boston.
That one. That's the note. Philadelphia might be the healthiest team in the East. Like, they may be the team to contend with early.
Until Joel Embiid plays 10 games.
He's starting tonight. Like, Paul George is starting tonight. Like, when is this? I'm just saying, it's sneaky. Yeah. I don't believe them as far as I can throw them, but I just think it's interesting that they're the healthy team.
How much of the luster is lost in that because of what Boston is now missing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The problem is Boston's still going to win.
Yeah, they still got a pretty.
Like, Boston's still going to win that game.
Kool-Aid has, and I hope people get an opportunity to read it. It's his over 1,000-word essay on the preview of the Pistons season this year, what he's expecting. So check it out. Woodward Sports has sent it out on X, and follow Woodward Sports on all our social media channels.
I am excited for one specific angle with the Pistons.
Okay.
Is one player is Asar Thompson, and it's because of this. Because of the blood clot last year, he didn't get a full off season, and he didn't get a chance to really grow as a player like his brother did. And I hope his brother's okay. He didn't get the chance to grow at the beginning of last year and through the season like Amen did, because Amen was healthy and did the whole off season. This is going to be pivotal for him because he was healthy. He did get this off season, and it is with a better situation. So I'm excited to see the step that he has taken this season. Sorry, Thompson.
His brother made a bad mistake last night, though.
Yeah,
they had a foul to give, and they didn't foul Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who pulled up and made a nice move and hit one from 16 feet, similar to what Ryan will do tonight. And it'll be really.
Probably.
He was trying to get a little bit of water.
So somebody
just watching like Ryan.
Somebody asked me. I know that I can't get that vision out of my head right now.
Every time I shoot a mid range, I'm saying Ryan.
I am
damn straight.
You know what I'm picturing?
I was confident.
I'm picturing Steve Carell in The Office. That's what I'm picturing.
Oh, you gotta give me some respect.
I'm not gonna do my man like that. I'm picturing Philip Seymour Hoffman in Along Came Polly. Rain dance. Yeah. Make it rain.
We want video tonight. We want video tonight.
I can get.
Don't be selective, and you suddenly saying to your buddies, "Hey, while you guys are taking a water break, let me hit a 15-footer."
I need that invite, Ryan.
Can I get a breakdown on my?
We need a solid. We need like a 4-minute video footage. 4-minute clip, because I feel like we can see all the things.
I don't know. 4 minutes, man.
Invite.
We'll never get that back in our life. 4 minutes. That's
we'll be the back.
I'm not watching 4 minutes. I'm going to skim it. I'm going to drag that line. I mean, I watched it. I mean, you did all right. Didn't watch it. I would watch.
Somebody asked me this morning, give me a reason to stay interested in the Pistons this year. If I asked you that, well,
okay,
you're very close to it. Sorry. Okay, there's a lot of people who are still wondering.
Like,
and look,
act like you from the other side of the country. Like, act like you live in Los Angeles and you're not a Pistons fan. And think through that lens.
Shep is being real because I've seen that question everywhere.
Yeah, you got 44 wins from a year ago. Here's my expectation. Yeah, you ready? My expectation for this team, considering Indiana's loss, Halliburton, Turner, considering Boston's injuries, primarily Tatum. I'm going to not disrespect Cleveland. They won 61 games a year ago. They deserve to be atop the East. Yeah. I get that. I think Orlando's better. I think people are overplaying Atlanta, and I think New York deserves some credit. I think Detroit is a top 4, top 5 team in the Eastern Conference.
100%.
That's my expectation if they stay healthy, primarily number 2. That's my expectation. Yeah. But if I ask you, give me the biggest reason why you should be intrigued by the Pistons this year, not tonight, but this year. You say it is Asar Thompson.
No, that's not the biggest reason.
I'm sorry.
Just me being a homer and watching that through the lens of what we do. But if I was more broad scale, I would think because you got a guy that is going to be in the running for MVP. At least that's what I believe. At whatever level that's at, it's the level, Shep. If it's I'm not saying it's 1 for 3, but he'll be the top 6 in that running this year. And he also led a team last year that went from 14 wins to 44 wins. That in itself, I'm interested in. Because you got a guy that's going to be an MVP candidate leading this team that went from 14 to 44. What does year 2 of that look like? So that's what would draw me in.
It's good.
And I want to see Asar Thompson, the goal, all NBA defensive team. That's something I want to see from him. He made some great strides after he got back and got his legs under him. And then by the playoffs, you got Jalen Brunson, one of the most physical players in the league and one of the best, the clutch player of the year, saying he's one of those ones as it relates to defense.
All right, do me a favor. I'm gonna take you on a journey. This is me getting my producer on.
Talk to me.
Take off your Detroit Pistons cap.
Is that possible?
Take off. We're going.
I don't think so.
We're gonna act like it is.
Yeah.
Take off the Detroit Pistons. Take off the deep analytical sense and what you understand all that. Just go more broad and more chill. What about the Pistons would draw you in this season if you knew just a little bit?
You know what? The fact that they play all out. That's the one thing I've loved to see return.
So the physicality and all out. Okay.
Yeah, the physicality, the diving on the floor. They have a little flair to them. You could tell that they have that togetherness to them. And I know they put out that document. Those types of things I do believe add to the in-arena entertainment value. And then you got the number 1 lob connection in the NBA in Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. They are Lob City. They have made basketball fun, and they're quickly becoming one of the league's top league pass teams.
I think that's really well said because that's my answer is they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know how some people can be about the NBA and it gets a little long at times and you're really never out of it. And then the last 2 minutes, this team's fun to watch. Yeah. And if you are somebody who wants your money's worth to watch a basketball team, this team, more oftentimes than not, night in, night out, are giving you your money's worth because they play like they care. And that's something fans always say. They want athletes to play like they – now, the only thing I push back, and I hope you're right with Cade Cunningham, When you hear MVP of the NBA, you think of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if Cade Cunningham has penetrated that 6-name favorite list, if you will, and I hope he finally does, because I think he's deserving to be mentioned. I'm not saying he deserves to be the MVP, but he deserves to be mentioned.
I agree, and that's what my conversation was. He would be in contention.
Yeah,
contention can mean I finished 8th in the Heisman Trophy. Like, I was not in the top 3, top 4. I was nowhere near it, but I was in contention to a certain point.
Good point.
That's more so what I mean by K. But I like the answer you chose. Like, that answer right there, like Kool-Aid. Once you start, like, if I read that would draw me in for 2 games. Like, if I just read that, the synopsis, how you put it, I would legitimately be drawn in for 2 games. And Shep, you talk about fun. 2025 as it relates to sports is entertainment, which is fun. That would draw me in.
Yeah.
And then superstar. That would be the other thing. So you mix
There you
your
go.
conversation with your conversation in mind. I would definitely tune into the Detroit Pistons for 2-3 games. And if they can continue, then I'd stay.
Yeah, I see Cade Cunningham taking over the chat right now. I guess people are putting in their reason for watching.
Cade.
RJ Graham, MVP Motorcade, Dante 151, Cade Cunningham. So as you talk about superstar, I think that this is that season in which Cade did speak to wanting to be an MVP, wanting to be the face of the league. And so I do believe he has the chops, but there is a uphill battle for him to climb. Not just what he does on the court, not just if the Pistons win, but I think that they're going to have to win so good and so impressively that they can move some of those narratives.
Dude, I'll tell you, every team in this market is fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, the Lions are an absolute blast. I don't know if there's a more enjoyable team to watch the game of football than the Detroit Lions. The Red Wings right now, when they play tonight against Buffalo, in Buffalo, Detroit's won 5 in a row. Defensively, they've been rock solid. Those young kids, the physicality in which they play, how hard, it's tough to get away from the wall against those guys. It's tough to find, the ladies' tees in between and down low and try to get some shots off. They are physical, but they are hard to play against. They're a fun watch. I don't know if it'll stay that way all year, but they're a fun watch. We thought the Tigers, for the most part, until they pooped themselves in September, were fun to watch, right? I think this Pistons team is exactly that.
It's funny you say that about the Detroit Red Wings. Last year when Tom McClellan took over, I got a chance to talk to D-Mac, and I asked D-Mac, what's up, my guy? I asked D-Mac, what was this going to be like? He said, Bray, just wait till next year, man. Just wait till next year. He's going to get the guys. He's going to do all the things. I'm like, all right, well, D-Mac says I'm going to shut up. I didn't ask again. And now you see how the season has started. D-Mac was here earlier today. I got a chance to run into him. I said, you knew your stuff about it. He said, well, it's just a matter of time. He made it more professional. He added some pieces, added some players that are going to hold people accountable. And then they're physical. It's physical. He said physical like 4 times. So it's exactly.
Let's go.
But he said that back then. He told me, stay the course, relax, and chill. And this is what you're seeing. So, it's early, but it looks so different.
Oh.
Like, you made me turn into it, Ryan. Who was that watching? You and Justin were talking about it last week. I was like,
Yeah, look,
I'll take a look.
There are certain characteristics of winning teams. So, for example, in baseball, I've always brought up WAR. Where's your team in a war?
Yeah.
For wins above replacement. With the Red Wings, and somebody brought this up in the chat, and it's a really good one, and that's from Randall Smalls. Shout out. He said, I love the wing speed. If you're physical and you're fast, that's what Florida's been. Edmonton's been fast. Have they been as physical? No. Florida has worn them down. That famous clip of Paul Maurice telling his guys, blank the puck, wear them down. Forget about shooting. Wear them down. Their legs will give way in the third. And that's what Detroit is doing right now to teams. It's awesome to watch. Let's hope the Pistons can get their legs under them, too, so it'll be really fun.
Physicality and speed is the undefeated combo. Like, you talk about that, and it makes me think about one team. It's the sweater I'm wearing right now, or the hoodie, excuse me. Michigan was always physical. Michigan's been physical since the inception. 1887. Michigan's been physical. This is what they've done. The speed aspect is what changed in 2022 when Jim Harbaugh brought in Ben Herbert, and that's why he stole him and took him out to the Chargers. Now you have physicality, and now you have dynamic speed.
Yeah.
Now you can beat Bama. Now you can beat Ohio State. Now you can win a national championship. Speed and physicality together.
It's a great combo, man.
It's an unbeatable combo.
Dude, think about the Lions.
Yeah.
Why are the Lions, we love to hear about the mauling up front, right? But the speed of Jamison Williams, the speed of Jahmyr Gibbs.
Penei Sewell.
We
watched that play.
Yeah.
That's
speed. Braylon's breakdown for crying out loud. Of course I watched the play.
Speed and physicality.
Yeah, amen.
That's a mofo.
Speaking of mofo, there's a guy right now coaching in the National Football League who, even though he's a winner, he's won a Super Bowl, I think he's lost an awful lot of respect.
You talking about Bray's favorite coach?
This guy, what a tool bag, in all honesty. I don't know if people saw this. I hope you did, but if you didn't, we're going to show it to you here coming up. Sean Payton is now the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
And when he first arrived there, he had Russell Wilson as his quarterback. Now, I know Russell Wilson's a little different, and I know he wanted certain things, because I learned from somebody to my right here, that are rather unique. But it's how you handle yourself and how you handle players that I think make you a really good leader.
Yeah.
Listen to what Sean Payton said after his Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, came back and beat the Giants, who were led by Jackson Dart. And, of course, he replaced Russell Wilson a few weeks ago. This is what he said afterwards about Jackson Dart and his impressions of the Giants. Go ahead.
Out of respect for that organization, I spent 4 of my early years there, close with the Mayor Tisch family. You know, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
So, I mean, that's an obvious slap at Russell Wilson without saying his name.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson's response was, and he's been, for the most part, classy. He said, look, classless, but not unexpected. In other words, he figured it was coming from a guy like that. I don't know Russell Wilson, and I know he's not back to his 2017 pace of what he did in Seattle, but what Sean Payton did there is flat out wrong, bush league, and unprofessional.
What does it matter? Like, what does it matter about what Russell did in Denver? This is the conversation that I don't understand. And I was listening to ESPN because I wanted to see what with the ones that protect the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see what they had to say. They made the whole conversation. Stephen A. Smith, I'll call him out. He made the whole conversation about what Russell was in Denver, what he wasn't, what the skill no longer was, how the deal felt. Who the F cares? We're talking about the disrespect that Sean Payton did in here, in Detroit, down the road, to berate this man. A veteran at that, a Super Bowl champ, much like yourself. You
MVP.
You got one, he's got one. MVP, man of the year. Like, this comes with something. To berate him and to be disrespectful in that space. He wouldn't have done it to Drew Brees. He wouldn't do it to Bo Nix. But he did it to Russell Wilson. Fast forward. Russell's gone. Russell's been gone. Russell's actually been gone a season plus now. Now he's in New York. Went to Pittsburgh last year. He's with the Giants now. He's not even playing. He's not even starting. Why does Sean Payton feel the need to bring him up? This is a personal matter. Absolutely. I don't know what that personal matter is, but this is once these individuals get older, a lot of times, man, they can say and do what they want and get away with it. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't get it
why so classist? What is it about Russell? Yeah. Maybe is it because in 2013 you thought you had a good season, and in those playoffs you lost to a certain quarterback that you disrespected then? I remember that. Yeah. 2014, you thought Drew was going back. Guess what? He didn't.
Right.
Instead, Russell Wilson went back to the Super Bowl. And that was the infamous, that was the year they won. That was the year Russell won the Super Bowl. Are you still upset about that? Are you upset maybe because at some point it seemed like Russell Wilson had jumped the favor and the skill and the fame of Drew Brees? There was for a brief moment when Drew was finishing and Russell still was ascending.
Yeah.
That maybe you felt your quarterback that you thought was better got disrespected. Whatever this issue is with Sean Payton, it is a personal issue. He came into Denver with that attitude. And I know Russell is hard to deal with and had his own locker and all that. Yeah. But does that give you the right to be disrespectful?
No.
Does that give you the right to bring it up 18 months later?
You look petty by doing it, is what it is. And people in the chat, they're like, well, he's speaking the truth. You don't, just because it's the truth or you think it's the truth doesn't mean that's what you say it. You don't have to trample on somebody who is now the backup in New York. Try to be a little classier, okay? No, it's not always about the truth. And somebody else says, well, Russell's a weirdo. What difference does it make?
What does that make?
It doesn't matter.
Like, at the end of the day, pointing out facts has nothing to do with what this individual has done, has said, and how he looks. The conversation isn't about is Russell washed or not. He's washed, okay? Yes, He's washed. I would not have him as my quarterback. I said that last year. If I was Pittsburgh, I wouldn't have him. He's washed. Wasn't good. Had one shiny moment this year for 455. They still lost that game. 100%. Yes. But Sean Payton, being an individual well beyond 50s, in his 60s, has won a Super Bowl that has a cachet, if you will, of a head coach. Why do you feel the need to
What
point
does he
to,
do?
Like, why are you? He's not playing.
Right.
Sean Payton is talking about a player that he's not even coaching against this week. He's coaching against Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
That's what the conversation is. So why do you feel the need to mention it? That's because you're 25. That's because you're 22. That's because you're 19, 18, 30. As a 60-plus-year-old man with a Super Bowl champion, as a head coach, it comes with something with certain respects.
Why are you still thinking about him? I just, to me, I don't get it. And it makes him, like I said, makes him look petty. For people in Denver, they're probably going like this. Come on. I mean, was that necessary? And people outside of Denver, they're going, you know what? You're a jackass, okay? And a lot of players, I'm sure, look at it like, man, you're doing that to that dude for no reason whatsoever. And now what would that be with somebody else? Now, to the Bo Nix thing, he has chewed Bo Nix's ass out on the field, but he's never said that. He wouldn't say that at the podium. Why would he? He may down the road, who knows? But he has chewed him out much like he did with Russell Wilson. It's how you handle your situation. Sean Payton looks like the panic, almost fear-stricken leader that you're not supposed to be when you're on the sidelines.
He looks like a representation of this country, to be honest, like realistically. Like, there's no respect from the lead man, so it's an imitation, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if I could go that far, but we can debate
he
that
has no
another
respect,
time.
so
Well, he doesn't have any respect. He doesn't deserve any respect.
But I'm
Sean
saying,
Payton doesn't. Yeah, I don't think.
I'm talking about the other guy. I'm saying the leader of your country shows no respect.
Well, depends on who you're talking to. Quick update on the chat and on what we've got going on as far as the mailbag after this from BlackRock and Lady James.
Oh, I forgot we had BlackRock. Try our steak and lobster for just $19.99. Now, for a limited time, come and get some of Braylon's beef. 20-ounce hand-cut New York strip. Feast like a beast. I'm telling you, it is you guys had that about 2 weeks ago. Came here, BlackRock set it out, and it was so smooth.
Good.
And also, too, did you guys go to BlackRock and get your app? Because the Detroit Lions did win on Monday Night Football.
I know.
Go
I messed
get
up
that
there.
App. The Lions win, you win. Go get your free appetizer. BlackRock, place the scissors.
Lady James is, we're talking to some of these young, lovely ladies here. They're working hard every single day. It seems like their chairs are constantly busy, and it's obvious. And you know why? Because they're having a nice conversation, but they're making sure your time is valuable. They're in, and then you're out. You come into Lady James, you sign up to a clean place, a clean chair, a clear sink where you're getting your hair washed. You're getting nice. You almost fall asleep. Some people almost fall asleep. It seems so calm and enjoyable, right? It's inexpensive, and then you're in, you're out, and you're out the door looking really sharp. It's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. There's 28 locations in the state of Michigan. Find one near you. It's easily found. They're all over the place, and it's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Check it out. They're wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or bust Lions network.
Caesars Sportsbook, official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Scan that QR code or use code Woodward1000. If your first bet does not hit, you get that deposit right back. Maximum bet of $1,000, minimum bet of just $20. Use code Woodward1000 or just scan that QR code.
It struck me as unprofessional.
We are back. And you know what?
I just don't like the guy.
Got to make sure we got the Detroit versus everybody in the Pistons font showing right now. We also got the Red Wings hat on. So support your teams. Also going to hit and smash that like button. I want to jump right into, I just hijacked this for you guys, man.
No, it's good.
These super chats, all right? Charles Bosnack. First, Deontay Moore, he just sent in 2 separate $2 super chats just to support the crew. So thank you for the support, man. He actually is wearing the number 2 crown today in the chat family.
The crown is yours.
The number 1 crown is Randall Smalls, $5 super chat. And he's been active throughout the entire show. He says, Lions Super Bowl rings will be a key to new Ford Special Edition ride. What do you think?
Ooh, I like that.
That's a good idea, man.
I like that.
That is a good idea.
See, that's the cool thing about it. I love that
Brando's
concept.
it,
You know what you should add to that? That special edition should be for the Lions only.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should like Ford definitely look. You
That
got
would be awesome.
You guys have had since how long to cook this idea?
Yeah.
They definitely should have that car waiting, and that should be the ring reveal.
Mhm.
It should be that new car that they get.
That's a great idea, man.
I love that.
My dad thinks that they should paint a Mustang on those city jerseys that they just played on against the Bucks. He thinks a Mustang should be designed around that color scheme.
They don't have one?
They don't have it in that color, he said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like once Mustangs start going electric, man, I tapped out. Like, look, I love you Lions, I love you Steelers, but like you electric Mustang, like part of having the Mustang was to hear that
with the
engine.
audible rumble.
My mom's got a convertible.
Yeah, you got to do that. Yeah, yeah. See, because a buddy of mine had it looked like the Lions blue with black interior, so that's why I asked you. But maybe it wasn't quite that blue. It's a good point by your dad. All right, more super chats and mailbag. Go ahead.
Yes, definitely. We got a couple more here. Michael Wary says, "Good job, chat. We made it to our light goal today." It's a $2 super chat he sent in, so shout out to him.
We appreciate the work you're doing out there.
Crown in the chat family with that super chat. So shout out to you, Michael Wary. And Charles Bosnack, the $2 super chat.
Okay.
Says,
What up, Chuck?
rather have
First timer?
a top 5 offense and a number 1 defense.
Say it again.
He said he would rather have a top 5 offense and a number 1 defense. It was back to when you guys were talking about those coordinators and how well the Lions have been playing this year.
Yeah, definitely. You got to.
I'd take them both. Yeah.
If you have both, ladies and gentlemen, where's the Super Bowl at this year?
Yeah.
San Francisco?
I'll meet you there.
You said it. No. You know what? You did, Bray. You said if the Detroit Lions have an offense and a defense over a certain rating, they are going to and probably going to win a Super Bowl. And right now they're looking pretty vicious.
What I like about it is like because winning doesn't have to always look good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch the Lions games, they're winning and they're getting better. Like even the minutia behind it, and you're like, all right, well, I didn't like the run game this week, or I didn't like the Jared Goff threw interception this weekend last week. So what? The way in which they're winning, they will get better. And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the whole ride versus just so focused on right now where they at. They can be better here. They can be better here. Of course they can.
Yeah, I would ask them also, I mean, if you want the number 1 defense. You know who's the number 1 defense right now?
Talk to me.
Houston. Scoring-wise. I think it's about scoring defense. I don't care how much you move the ball up and down the 20s and stuff like that. Scoring defense, Houston's number 1. But they got a losing record.
Whoever's total defense for me, that's who I'm marking.
Why total defense?
Because total defense is everything. How many points you giving up? How many sacks do you have? How many yards are you allowing? When you add all that in, that's who you really are.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, 'cause that's that.
I guess when I think total, I think of passing and rushing combined, and that would be Cleveland. So if you're saying all of it together.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
And just one more. I got to throw one more. From our guy Steve O'Baby. He's one of the regulars.
Yeah.
And I got to show him a lot more love, too. Shout out to you, Steve O'Baby. He says, Mailbag, Braylon, did you see when Jamison Williams said that he doesn't care if he's getting the touches just as long as we win? What are your thoughts on that?
I love the conversation. At the end of the day, like, they're winning. So, people get frustrated and been out of shape about him not getting his touches and winning and not looking a certain way. Would I like J-Mo to look better? Yes, he's making $30 million. However, they found a way for him to be a $30 million decoy. And if that's working to the tune with Sam Laporta can have 5 catches a game, Amon-Ra can get over, and then once he goes on deep routes, it softens up the run game a little bit, then so be it. I mean, they spent the money. So, I'm perfectly fine with it. And this is how he's played, too. J-Mo's always done everything. And he wasn't just a guy trying to get the passes. He's blocking down the field. He's hype. He's going there.
That's what you said you've liked about him.
So, I believe it when he says that. And good for him. Because when you win, when the team wins, everybody's going to win. Everybody's going to eat. He got paid, so you're ate already.
I like the way he's handled himself. If he takes it the other route and he's pouting about it and he's mad.
A.J. Brown.
What is everybody saying?
He's selfish.
You're selfish. Right. 100%. So he can't win no matter what. I think he's handled it very well, and I give him a lot of kudos. We thank you for joining us in the chat. It's awesome stuff. It's great to be with Ryan Kool-Aid and, of course, the man, Braylon Edwards. Hope you're back with us tomorrow. Remember, Dr. Pierce will be with us, and we'll get some updates on some of those injuries that are most important to your fantasy league and so on and so forth. Join us tomorrough, 2 o'clock here on the Braylon Edwards Show.
I'm in second place currently.
Go Pistons.
Makes 2 of us, yeah. See
My guy.
Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend,
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon. Up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And Shep.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.